guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about something I came across recently that I think is insane. And yes, you read the title right. Blake Lively is fully trying to get YouTubers in legal trouble. Okay, first off, just a brief recap for those who don't know what's going on. So in 2024, there was a movie coming out named It Ends With Us, with Blake Lively starring as a lead and Justin Baldoni starring as a lead alongside being the director and an executive producer. Although they started filming in early 2024, it was only in December when everything leaked that they had tensions brewing between them. So when a movie comes out featuring a few celebrities, they always go on press tours, answer questions together, and sometimes even play up the couple aspect for the audience. Well, for this film, as the film was being rolled out, people noticed that Justin and Blake were never really together. Audiences were not aware of the tensions but could see something going on. The film follows a character named Lily Bloom, aka Blake, who is chasing her dream to open her first flower shop before she meets Baldoni's character and falls in love. Baldoni's character turns very dark and abusive, so the film has themes of DV and is very heavy topic-wise. So what does Blake do during the rollout? Well, she uses the tour to advertise her own company's products and encourages fans to get their florals on and watch the movie without showing much sensitivity for the theme. And clips of her interviews started going viral.
Lily Bloom is, oh, look at me in flowers, Lily Bloom. It's neoprene. Things like go deep sea diving in it. I think I put more into that movie than this.
That's awesome. I'm going to jump into this, and Blake, I'm going to start with you to run into a celebrity in public. We only have a few moments to maybe speak with you guys, but for people who see this movie, who relate to the topics of this movie on a deeply personal level, they're really going to want to talk to you. This movie is going to affect people, and they're going to want to tell you about their lives. So if someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, and they want to really talk to you, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it?
Asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you, and then we could
As people were picking her apart and digging up interviews from her past, Justin was received differently. I mean, we have to remember he's the director of the film, so obviously understands how to talk about it way better, but anyway, he approached it in a completely different way.
One of the things that I think is very easy to say, especially for us men, is when we maybe talk to somebody who's in this situation, or we read a book, or we hear a news story, the question that's always asked is, why did she stay? And that's the wrong question. What we need to be asking ourselves is, why do men harm?
At the time of the press's release, the tide was going one way with Blake and another way with Justin. So many things started leaking about Blake, specifically one past interview where people started labeling her as a mean girl.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
congrats on your little bump.
You like the movie? Are you a Woody Allen fan?
I love most of his movies, and this one was so like visually amazing.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Did you guys love wearing those kind of clothes that you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, working in
Everyone
digital.
wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes.
I would.
I love Jesse's
He's so
suits and
beautiful. That's what I'm
hats.
saying. His wardrobe was beautiful.
I know,
Corey's
everybody.
wardrobe was
I know.
gorgeous.
He's
Those
so
high-waisted pants.
He's so great.
I wish men
And
wore
sorry,
high-waisted pants
too.
like
I
that
know.
still. The father with his tank top and
Oh,
bed.
it's so
Just
good.
like, it's just like
Did
that.
you
You
catch
can feel
the
it.
tablecloth on the light in the Italian restaurant when they eat
I
spaghetti?
didn't
and
notice
the-
that. No.
Not to mention, people started noticing Justin wasn't even at the premiere standing next to Blake on the red carpet, and apparently he was asked to go with his family somewhere separate to watch the film premiere. So people started digging. What exactly happened? December of 2024 hits, and there's articles starting to leak slowly saying things like, months after rumors of a rift surfaced around the film's premiere, Lively filed a complaint against Baldoni, producer Jamie Heath and Baldoni's production company Wayfarer Studios, as well as its co-founder Steve Sarowitz, claiming sexual harassment and an alleged retaliatory public smear campaign to, quote, destroy her reputation. So now people started turning on Justin because there are seriously huge and disgusting claims. The New York Times then does an investigation on the case and reports the results. They're not really in Justin's favor. They further support the claims that there was a smear campaign orchestrated by Justin and his team, among many other horrible allegations like sexual harassment and invasion of privacy. Baldoni hits back with a $250 million lawsuit against the New York Times for defamation, and then one against Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds for civil extortion, defamation, and more for over $400 million. Now, we won't dive too deep into the legal proceedings in this video, but if you would like me to deep dive on that, let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, all of this was going on, so as tea and gossip channels do, they reported on it. Well, apparently Blake is especially not happy with YouTube and certain creators for covering her drama in such depth. I found an article from as early as February of this year where apparently Blake started to slowly come at online creators saying they're parroting Justin's narrative and almost like working for him. So basically, Blake asked for a protective order to maintain the privacy of some information of high-profile people involved in the case, like health records, personal information, financial data, etc. Justin's lawyers say that's fine, but not the heightened layer of secrecy that Blake is suggesting. They also hit back by saying that even Ryan was mentioning the case on SNL, and Blake is only doing this because of her reputation tarnishing. Blake's team responds, arguing that Baldoni's response shows exactly why a protective order is needed. They noted the existence of certain online content creators who frequently parrot the Wayfarer party's line. As examples, they cited Perez Hilton and Candace Owens and noted that Hilton and Baldoni have been both represented by attorney Brian Friedman. They also argued that such online discussion influences media coverage of the case to Lively's disadvantage. So this was an early mention of online creators, but it kind of died down after that as they focused on legal proceedings. Well, it's summer 2025 and this topic is back on the table. Several creators have started receiving emails from Big YouTube that they are being subpoenaed by Blake's lawyers for their information, and they had to provide certain info to YouTube to pass on to Blake's lawyers. Wild, I know. So let me go through the people I've come across. First of all, someone who was mentioned in the Variety article and is one of the OG internet gossipers, Perez Hilton. He uploaded a TikTok saying,
I am officially the latest victim of the zero-time Oscar-nominated actress. Yay! Documents to be produced. Request for production number 1. All documents and communications concerning any agreements, draft or final, you have with anyone, including but not limited to counsel for the Wayfarer parties that were effective at any point from May 1st, 2024 through the present, without regard to the date of drafting or execution, concerning the consolidated action, Miss Lively, Mr. Reynolds, any Wayfarer defendant, the digital campaign, the marketing plan, the film. I have not yet responded to this subpoena, which was just served to me today. I am representing myself. I don't have a lawyer working with me on this, so it's going to take me some time to thoroughly digest this, and I have 14 days to officially respond. But right off the bat, the wording of this is extremely problematic.
He goes on to say that they asked him for any messages exchanged with any parties about the film, the marketing, Ryan Reynolds, or Blake Lively. They also asked him for all the documents regarding his, quote, services on social media as it connects to this, and they asked for any blind items that he might have also seen. He kind of picks the subpoena request apart and calls it a whole fail. Remember when I mentioned in February that Blake is basically making a case that online creators are directly working to push Justin's narrative? Well, Perez wasn't alone in this blame game. Fellow YouTuber Spill Sesh was also part of the subpoena. She released a video on TikTok recently saying,
Just posted a YouTube video about this Blake Lively legal headache I'm dealing with right now, because her and her team are under the impression that these 16 creators, me being one of them, was paid by Justin and his team to make content about Blake Lively, which is not the case here. Now, of course, I have nothing to hide, so it's like not a big stress. But it's annoying, like having to pay my lawyer to handle all of this and like call Blake's lawyer and be like, what do you guys actually want? Because they were being very vague. They were like, we want your name, email, bank account information. And with this case being super public, it's like, well, is there a protective order? Let me make sure that if you're going to be scanning through all of this stuff that you're going to keep that stuff under wraps. And as you can see, I made a lot of videos on Blake and Justin. And no one's ever paid me to say anything bad about Blake Lively. I just don't think that coming after creators is the move, because there were so many people when the movie came out that were saying and feeling like she just totally missed the mark the way that she was promoting all of her brands at the same time as this movie, making it seem like this frilly little rom-com. And I just feel like nobody needed to get paid in order to see and feel like that just wasn't it.
Blake also came for Candace Owens, who she also mentioned in the Variety article. Candace had this to say.
Somebody check on Noah, please. Here it is. Here it is. Poor Noah, my lawyer. Or rich Noah, my lawyer, because my legal life seems to be never ceasing. It just continues to go. Now, I've received my subpoena from Blake Lively today. I'll tell you what is in it, because in my opinion, she's kind of admitting that she cannot prove that there was a smear campaign. And I'll tell you why I think that and how I got there.
So she goes on to say that she was in a text chain with her PR manager and some others, and they said someone was served who works at TMZ by Blake, so they warned her to look out for this basically. She said that the guy who served it was really nice and sweet, but called Blake a fan for her never-ending lawsuit.
Doesn't make any sense. Let's slow that down here, because I think we're realizing something. It would make perfect sense that the judge, as he did, would grant them some sort of a limited subpoena to go ahead and prove their point. But let's not forget, Blake Lively is suing, among many other people, Jennifer Abel, Wayfarer Studios, Melissa Nathan, because she believes that while she was in a contract with Wayfarer Studios, they undermined her by hiring a crisis PR firm in the form of Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel to plant awful articles about her, thereby ruining her brand, making people hate her on the internet. Essentially, she believes that traffic was inorganic now. And they worked with some guy in Texas named Jared who had access to Reddit to make that happen. Nobody could actually dislike her answers about her hair products. So what I think they're doing here is I called them like, this is weird. Obviously, she knows for a fact that we are not going to allow her to have access to every text message and email pertaining to her and Ryan Reynolds and Wayfarer Studios, because she watched me live say, now that I'm interested in this story, which my interest began on January 25th. Now that I'm interested, I am opening up a tips line, and I am saying to all of the mommy slews and the daddy slews and anybody that's known Ryan or anybody that has an inside scoop to email me so that I have, something to share with the public about them. And 10,000 emails that we have received since we opened up this tip line. I went through, I was like, this would be insane for you to ask me for this information. She's coming from the mommy sleuth. She's like, I want to know every Barbara and Sandy and Megan and every person that emailed you. Absolutely not. She knows we're going to say you can't read that. Of course she's going to say we can't read that. So why is she asking? Something must be hidden, because they still believe that the public is still stupid to comprehend what's happening here. This is effectively a PR strategy. Of course, we are going to say we're not giving up. That's why it's a fishing expedition, because she wants to know now who's talking trash about her. Wake up, sweetheart. It's everyone. Everyone dislikes you, because after Brian Friedman dropped the receipts, we all got invested, and we're covering this organically. Okay, then nobody's paying me. Nobody's giving me talking points. And so when I said to Noah on the phone, I said, call Michael Gottlieb, that's her lawyer, who's signed this or sent this over, who's an idiot. By the way, Michael Gottlieb, if you're watching, no hard feelings, you're an idiot. See your strategy from along. Actually, you might be smart, because you might just be running out the bill here. At first sending this ridiculous subpoena, then saying, no, I have to another one. I said, tell me, we'll willfully give him every piece of information that he wants leading up to when he filed his lawsuit. But obviously, we're going to assert reporter's privilege to protect our sources for how we got information about Blake Lively following her lawsuit being filed. I mean, common sense.
We do know that there are 16 online content creators who are part of this, some YouTubers and some people from TMZ, etc. And so far, of course, we know these three, but there's more that I'm sure will come out over the next few days. We will definitely be keeping an eye out on this story. So what do you guys think about all of this? It is so wild. Do you think that this will be a start to a new precedent of celebrities coming for YouTubers legally or for talking about them? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, feel free to leave this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new tea spills from us. And for now, here is some much needed eye bleach.